Take care.
You gonna be okay getting back?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and I finally just got around to finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so now I'm super keen to talk about what we can expect from here. These are 10 theories about Final Fantasy VII Part 3. Some of these theories make sense, some of these theories are just good fun, and some of these theories are so crackpotty that it almost makes sense again. Let's go. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Advent Children.
Let that righteous anger guide you.
For those who don't know, there is a Final Fantasy VII movie titled Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which follows Cloud, Tifa, and a handful of new characters in a sequel story to the original game. Without giving away too much about the plot, there are events like the mysterious illness of Geostigma that take place throughout the film that are direct results of the ending of the game and the way Sephiroth was killed, that could be worth hinting at throughout the third entry, or even exploring in post-game content. We may even see the creation of, or birth for lack of a better word, of Kadaj, Loz, and Yazoo, following the death of Sephiroth.
Even after everything we've done to it, it's still going strong.
Tifa and the Lifestream.
But I'm no fool.
One of Tifa's most significant character developments in Rebirth occurs when Cloud unexpectedly sends her into the Lifestream. We say unexpectedly because that's not supposed to happen yet. During this sequence, she directly connects with the planet through the two weapons, making this one of the more substantial deviations from the OG story, setting up later moments to hopefully flesh them out and make them less obscure. Simply put, I believe Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 will explore this aspect of Tifa's journey much further. In Rebirth, her newfound knowledge never fully comes into play, which seemingly sets the stage for Tifa to have a much larger role in relation to the planet and the Lifestream in the next installment, through genuine connection, not a trip and a fall. If that was too vague to understand, you should play the original because that was a funny gag. A new final boss. Let me say this entry with an important preface. Players will likely still face Sephiroth as the final boss of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, but let's just explore the possibility that something different could happen. It's highly unlikely that Sephiroth will simply vanish before the final showdown or suddenly have a change of heart. However, given the overarching themes of defying fate and altering history, there's clearly something bigger at play. Who else might we fight? Some force is manipulating the timeline, ensuring that Final Fantasy VII's key events unfold as they always have. This raises the possibility that the final boss of Remake Part 3 could be the true mastermind behind the Whispers, or even a physical embodiment of fate itself. If Sephiroth's death created Kadaj, Loz, and Yazoo, who knows what else it created? Maybe we'll fight Sephiroths from multiple timelines, who knows? Just expect the unexpected. Zack will return.
The expressway. Search and rescue operations are already in progress.
We still have one
So you're right.
Ex-soldier, armed with a buster sword. Highly dangerous.
I repeat, the fugitive is an ex-soldier, armed with a buster sword.
One of the biggest changes to the original story has been the involvement of Zack, and particularly the unexpected merging of our timelines Cloud and this alternate timeline Zack. I'd be surprised if this version of Zack didn't make a return in the third entry of the remake. His final line, who's to say, as in their world, can't unite again, all but set it up, and it would be strange for Square Enix to leave Zack's story hanging just as he's clinging to the possibility of reuniting with his friends. So I say that we can safely expect him to play a role when Cloud and the others set out to defeat Sephiroth and save the world. And maybe we can get out of this experience with everyone's lives intact in one form or another.
It all felt way too real. Just as worlds unite, so too do they part. But who's to say they can't unite again?
Post-game content.
It's Avalanche's fault we're gonna have...
I tell you.
Everyone, please! One at a time!
One major way Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 could significantly reshape the original ending is by introducing post-game content. And I don't mean finishing everything before the final boss. I mean post-final boss content. Modern RPGs often allow players to continue exploring after the main story concludes. And this is mostly by following the outcome of the final moments of these games. The final chapter of Final Fantasy VII Part 3 could unlock an epilogue, perhaps focusing on the aftermath of Midgar's destruction and beyond. This might include the city's reconstruction, the consequences of Sephiroth's defeat, and the long-term impact on our party. Basically, I just want to see if Barrett finally goes home to look after his goddamn daughter.
All intel objectives.
A cathartic romance.
So, I heard you and Tifa go way back.
Yeah.
I also heard she used to have a pretty big crush on you.
That's so.
The romantic subplot in Final Fantasy VII always felt underdeveloped, with the game essentially steering players towards Tifa, even if they'd been pursuing Aerith. Obviously, you take what's available. That's so dark, I'm sorry. The remake, however, has put in much more effort to let players influence the romance. That said, Rebirth didn't exactly deliver a satisfying romantic payoff either. After all the build-up, it felt like players' efforts led to little more than a kiss before the story immediately shifted back to saving the world. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 needs to provide a truly meaningful and cathartic romantic conclusion, one that feels like a real payoff for the player's choices. We actually matter. The original Final Fantasy VII ending, while emotionally powerful, is a little dissatisfying if you look into the details. The planet's survival has almost nothing to do with our efforts. It's pretty much inevitable, which undercuts our journey. We don't have time to get into it, but the planet basically saves itself. So if the asteroid was never going to destroy the world, did our actions even matter? Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 has a chance to change this by making the team's efforts truly decisive in stopping Sephiroth. I don't know how, but just do it, Square Enix. Come on, do it. Rufus Shinra is the big baddie. Rufus takes a notable departure from the original Final Fantasy VII in Rebirth, particularly with Glenn haunting him like a spooky ghost. With Shinra's war against Wutai set to play a major role in the next installment, it's safe to assume Rufus will be heavily involved in this conflict. He's struggling to get out from under his father's shadow and stands as Cloud's second biggest antagonist. The fleshing out of the story and characters, as well as Rufus showing up in his own cutscenes and moments made to explore his story, makes it fairly assured that his villain role will have a much bigger place than in the original.
We must look instead to the promise of tomorrow, for today is a new day, and the first of a long, arduous journey, which we must take together.
Everyone gets their ending. Let's get into it, because this is the entry I feel the most passionate about. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 should provide definitive endings for all major characters. The original game left their fates ambiguous, offering no real confirmation of what happened to them after the world was saved. While fans could turn to later games or movies for answers, they still have a lot of holes that remain empty. Red 13 had an ending which provided closure. This is the kind of resolution Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 should aim for with everyone else. Bring Aerith back.
Take care.
You gonna be okay getting back?
And if I said I wasn't?
Aerith's death in the original Final Fantasy VII is one of the most, or possibly the most, emotionally impactful moment in gaming history. However, the remake trilogy has already introduced enough ambiguity around her fate, enough to at least set us up for a possible change. Rebirth makes it clear that while Aerith is undeniably dead in the main timeline, she might not be dead everywhere. The concept of clashing realities, like in the final battle of Part 2, raises the possibility of her crossing over from another timeline. Could she survive? Absolutely. Her potential survival isn't just about fan service, it would allow for deeper character development and a more meaningful exploration of her relationship with Cloud. But also, what a fan service it would be.
Walking city streets with worn cobblestone.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.